Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the biosynthesis of purine nucleotides. The purine nucleotides are basically, as we have discussed earlier in the earlier classes, that the nucleotides will consist of the bases as well as sugars plus phosphate group. So for the synthesis of purines, the purines are actually synthesized in the form of purine nucleotides. That means whenever the bases are synthesized inside the body, they are synthesized along with the ribose and phosphate intact. So just to have a reminder of how do the purines and pyrimidines look like. So this is adenine and guanine, and these are the pyrimidines. Okay, so again, the structure of a nucleotide is made up of a base, either purine or pyrimidine, a ribose sugar, and phosphate group. So, how is the nucleic acid digested? Firstly, it is important to emphasize here that whatever nucleic acid we synthesize, that is important for the synthesis of whatever genetic material, DNA or RNA that we find inside the human body. That means all the functional DNA that is present inside the human body is synthesized essentially by the humans themselves. The dietary nucleic acids, or the nucleic acid that we take up through the diet, that is not directly incorporated for the synthesis of nucleic acids. Okay, so a brief look at how is the nucleic acid digested. Nucleic acid is taken up in the stomach in the form of nucleoproteins. Then, by the action of gastric acid and pepsin, this is broken down into nucleic acid and protein. Now, these nucleic acids again in the small intestine are broken into nucleotides or the monomers by the enzymes endonucleases. Those are RNAs and DNases. Now this nucleotide, by the action of nucleotidase, is split into phosphate and nucleoside. The nucleoside, with the help of nucleotidases, are broken down into the base and ribose. So what are the important functions that the nucleotides do? The, the nucleotides essentially are precursors for DNA and RNA synthesis. That is the most important function that we know, and that is the essential most important function. Apart from these, they also act as carriers of chemical energy, especially in the form of ATP, and they can also act as components of cofactors like NAD, FAD and coenzyme A. They also form activated intermediates such as UDP glucose and CDP diacylglycerol. Where are they important? Whenever there is need of a high energy compound for synthesis of a particular molecule, this can be done by the help of these activated intermediates, and the examples are UDP glucose and CDP diacylglycerol. Another function is they may act as second messengers. The examples are CMP and GMP, cyclic AMP and cyclic GMP. Okay, then we'll come to the main part, that is synthesis of nucleotides. So the synthesis of nucleotides in the human body is done by two means. First is de novo synthesis. De novo, as the name indicates, that it will start from the metabolic precursors, from the raw materials, and then it will make up the nucleotides. and the other one is salvage pathway. Salvage, as the name indicates, it essentially is salvage. To salvage something is to save something or to use it. So salvage pathway is another means of synthesis of nucleotide, but here it is basically essentially the recycling of free bases or nucleosides. So here you start from fresh, and in salvage pathway the free bases and nucleosides that are already present, they are recycled. Okay, so today in this lecture we'll discuss de novo synthesis, that is synthesis from basic precursors. Okay, so for the de novo synthesis of nucleotides, purine nucleotides, the site is in the cytosol of liver, small intestine and thymus. These are the sites where purine nucleotide biosynthesis takes place. Okay, the characteristics are such as purines are synthesized using ribose 5-phosphate. So the first material on which everything is built up and the nucleotide is made, or the first stepping brick, is 5-phosphorypose. Okay. What happens is this ribose 5-phosphate is converted to 5-phosphoribosal 1-pyrophosphate, which is an active donor of ribose 5-phosphate. And the purine base is built upon the ribose by means of by the action of several enzymes and with the help of different precursors. We'll take a look at the precursors that are required for the synthesis of purine nucleotides later. Okay, but so the starting material or the starting molecule on which the whole purine nucleotide is built up is ribose 5-phosphate, and then the first nucleotide which is made in the whole process of making purine nucleotides is inosinate or inosine monophosphate. This is the first nucleotide, purine nucleotide, to be synthesized, and from this inosine monophosphate AMP and GMP are synthesized. We'll see how. Now let's take a look at the element sources of purine bases. So the purine base synthesis requires obviously ATP molecules. It also requires 2 molecules of glutamine. 1 molecule of glycine is required, 1 molecule of CO2, 1 molecule of aspartate and 2 molecules of formate. So these are 1 carbon donors, and this glycine is also an important precursor apart from aspartate and amide and glutamine. This will give the nitrogen for the purine rings. Is the precursor for both AMP and GMP, and the whole process of conversion and synthesis from ribose 5-phosphate to inosine monophosphate requires 11 steps overall. We'll take a look at all the steps, and the whole pathway is taking primarily in liver. Cytotransferase. Okay, so it is important to remember this enzyme as well. This is very important in the regulation and feedback inhibition. Step 1 and 2 are tightly regulated by feedback inhibition, and these are one of the 2 very important committed steps which will regulate the synthesis of purines. The next step is acquisition of C4, C5 and N7. C4, C5 and N7, these are required from glycine. So the next step is conversion of 5-phosphoribosylamine to glycinamide ribonucleotide. Since glycine is added and this is the ribonucleotide, this whole thing, let's consider it every time now onwards we will denote this as a ribonucleotide. So what happens here is glycinamide ribonucleotide. Alright, because this is glycinamide and this is already, we have denoted this as ribonucleotide, and the enzyme is glycinamide synthetase. The next step is acquisition of C8. C8 is contributed by formyl group, and this N10 formyl tetrahydrofolate will give tetrahydrofolate, and this formyl group will be converted, will be transferred to this glycinamide ribonucleotide. So this glycinamide ribonucleotide will now become formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide, and the enzyme is glycinamide ribonucleotide transformylase, because a formyl group is added now. Okay, then there is acquisition of N3, and this we can see here that this formyl glycinamide ribonucleotide to this, and another nitrogen is added, which is going to be N3 for the purine ring, and this is given by glutamine again. So glutamine will be converted to glutamate, and in this whole process 1 ATP would be utilized, the enzyme would be synthetase, and the molecule now formed is formyl glycinamidine. Glycinamide has been converted to glycinamidine because there are two nitrogen amide compounds here. So now the compound is formyl glycinamidine ribonucleotide, or FGAM. So 5-amino imidazole ribonucleotide. Alright, so pehle it was formyl glycinamidine ribonucleotide. Now it has become 5-amino imidazole ribonucleotide. Then the next step is acquisition of C6. So amino imidazole ribonucleotide is now converted to carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide, and this carboxy group is, we get this from the carbon dioxide or bicarbonate, which was one of the precursors that we studied earlier. Alright, now the compound has become carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide. Then again there is acquisition of this N1. For this there is acquisition of this N1. For this there is involvement of aspartate. We'll see that carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide care is now converted to Sycar. Alright, and see how this aspartate is going to get attached here to form N-succinylo 5-amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide. This succinyl group is attached to this. So initially it was carboxy amino imidazole ribonucleotide. Now this has become N-succinylo amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide. Okay, carboxamide because this carboxy has been replaced by carboxamide linkage. Now after that this succinyl group has to go, only nitrogen is the thing that is needed. So there will be elimination of fumarate. So N5-succinyl amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide, that is Sycar, will be converted to form ICAR, which is 5-amino imidazole 4-carboxamide ribonucleotide, or ICAR. And this will also release one fumarate along with it. This fumarate will get eliminated. The enzyme here is adenylosuccinate lyase, and the compound has become 5 amino 4 carboxamide 5 amino 4 carboxamide ribonucleotide. Okay, now acquisition of C2 for this. Here this is C2. For this another formyl group is required. So this 5 amino imidazole 4 carboxamide ribonucleotide ICAR 5 amino imidazole 5 amino imidazole 4 carboxamide ribonucleotide is now converted to N-formyl amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide. N-formyl amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide 5-car, and the enzyme is ICAR transformylase. Then the next step is ring closure to form IMP, which is the first purine nucleotide to be synthesized. So N-formyl amino imidazole carboxamide ribonucleotide is now converted to inosinate or inosine monophosphate, which is the first purine nucleotide that is synthesized after 11 steps. Okay, now after this inosinate or inosine monophosphate is synthesized, it is converted either to AMP or to GMP. Now there is a very minute thing to note here. You can see when there is conversion of inosinate to adenylate, that means IMP is converted to AMP, there is usage of GTP, or GTP is involved in the conversion of IMP to AMP, and similarly while IMP is converted to GMP, ATP is utilized. What does this indicate? It indicates that nature has kept a very fine balance, so it is not going to go overboard. That means any one purine is not going to get synthesized in excess while the other one will remain lagged behind. Both of them will need each other for their synthesis, and there will be a balance in the synthesis of both. Okay, so here what happens is inosinate is converted to adenylosuccinate, and then it is converted to adenylate. Alright, for this amino group, there is aspartate involved, and in this from IMP to GMP synthesis, glutamine is required. Okay, this is another one showing that IMP is converted to adenylosuccinate, and this adenylosuccinate is then converted by means of adenylosuccinate lyase to AMP, and similarly IMP is converted to GMP. Now once AMP and GMP are synthesized, AMP will be converted to by means of kinases to ADP and ATP, and respectively this GMP is going to get converted to GDP and GTP. Now let's quickly have a look at the regulation of de novo biosynthesis. The significance of regulation is to have an appropriate usage of energy and no unnecessary synthesis. There should be appropriate usage, and the body should be able to synthesize optimum amounts of the nucleotides without any wastage, and we can see that AMP and GMP control their respective synthesis from IMP by a feedback mechanism. Okay, so let's take a look at the diagram. As I told you in the earlier also, that the first two steps are very tightly regulated and they are rate limiting steps. They are important for the purine synthesis regulation. Essentially, this is the most important step that is regulated. So synthesis of PRPP to 5-phosphoribosylamine, which is catalyzed by the enzyme glutamine PRPP amidotransferase. This is tightly regulated and this is feedback. This is inhibited by AMP, ADP, ATP and by GMP, GDP and GTP. The synthesis of PRPP by PRPP synthetase is feedback inhibited by 5 purine 5' nucleotides, predominantly AMP and GMP. These inhibit this enzyme, and the combinatorial effect of both the adenine nucleotide and the guanine nucleotide is important for maximal inhibition and correct concentration of both adenine and guanine nucleotides is achieved by means of the combinatorial feedback effect of both these on this. Okay. Additionally, purine bionucleotide synthesis is regulated in the branch pathways, that means here, by means of these. The accumulation of excess ATP leads to accelerated synthesis of GMP, and excess GTP leads to accelerated synthesis of AMP. So this is how the feedback regulation and inhibition is maintained.